Shirts, I've finally found the Social Security Trust Fund. What are we talking about? I've done a few videos over the last couple of days that I've got a lot of comments, and it seems like you just read the comments, and probably about 30 or 40% of them said, well, the problem with Social Security in the future next year and the possible cuts in the future is because the trust fund has been stolen. It's been given out to other countries. It's been given to this group or that group, or it's whatever the case may be. And if the politicians would only return the trust fund that they stole, everything would be fine and dandy. Well, I'm going to talk about that today, the reality of the trust fund. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third business Social Security office in the country. And right now in my semi-retirement, I'm helping y'all make sure everything you're entitled to. A lot of people out there that are not receiving the benefits they're entitled to, the benefits, that's another word. A lot of people have an issue with the word entitled. So this is the future of Social Security cuts. The Social Security trustees report, they're talking about cuts within the next few years of either 17%, 20%, 21%, or 33%. And something needs to be done. And one of the things that need to be done is we need to have a serious conversation and make tough choices. But one of the problems is we're not having a serious conversation because we're falling into the politicians, magic trick of, the shiny objects over here. You need to worry about the definition of entitlement. Look it up in the dictionary. There's two definitions. You need to worry about the trust fund that was stolen. If that was just miraculously found, then everything would be okay. Well, that's not the case because I found the trust fund. So let's talk about that today. And I am going to contribute to the diminishing of the trust fund by finding y'all money. Sorry, but people out there need the money they earned. All right, the facts. So there's 5 facts I'm going to talk about. And fact number 1 is every penny of the trust fund is, as we used to say in the Marine Corps, present and or accounted for, sir. It's all there. It has been stolen. It has not been stolen. It has not been, given into politicians or the billionaires or foreign countries or wherever the case may be. The money is still there. All you have to do is look at the Social Security trustees report, and it's the full faith and credit of the United States. And people are going to immediately shun when I say that, but it's particular. It's a trust fund, just like your 401k where you buy the treasury bonds, but the Social Security Trust Fund is a little bit safer than your regular 401k stuff. So like Warren Buffett recently, it cashed in a bunch of his Apple stock and he bought treasury bonds. Canada has a bunch of treasury bonds. Japan has a bunch of treasury bonds, US Treasury, Luxembourg, your 401k does. All of these people trust the full faith and credit of the United States, and that's where the Social Security Trust Fund is as well. And it's all there. It's all present and accounted for. Do we have a deficit in the general budget? Yes, we do have a deficit in the general budget. But let me go ahead and pop up the Social Security Trust Fund, the trustees report, and it specifically shows. So you can go into the trustees report. I'll put that in a link. And so we've got $2.7 trillion as of 2023. Income coming in, so FICA taxes coming in, 1.1. Going out, 1.2. So there's the issue right there. We've got less FICA taxes coming in than we have money going out. How do we get the difference? How do we check the difference? Well, we pull from the trust fund. So last year, they pulled $70 billion from the trust fund. So do you want to know where the trust fund is? It's in your paycheck. So fact number 2 is you are currently receiving the trust fund back. It's being paid back. It's pretty much every check since 2010 has had a percentage of the trust fund being paid back, because in 2010, that's where it's the daily, essentially the monthly receipts coming in is less than those going out. So since 2010, they have started pulling from the trust fund. Last year, your check, 5.6% of your check basically was from the trust fund. Don't know what the numbers are this year. This year might be 6 or 7%. So if you believe that the trust fund is just worthless IOUs, then please take that probably 6 or 7% of your check donate it to charity, buy me a whole bunch of beers, uh, contribute to this, and everybody on here live will decide where we're going to give it to charity. So if you really want to put your money where your mouth is, that the trust fund is just a bunch of worthless IOUs, and donate part of your check, 6% of your check. And the problem going forward is that last year was 5.6, might be 6, 7% this year. Next year it might be 7, 8%. And what we're looking at, the Social Security trustees saying that in probably 2034, 2031, that's when it's really going to be cut anywhere from 17%, 20% to 33%. So we need to have a serious conversation. And the number one thing is to say, okay, hey, all right, understand the trust fund is there. And then the next question is, okay, what happened? So what happened to all those trillions there? I just explained it there, but let me show you a little graph. So this is, if you can see this now, this is the old age survivors and disability income over the years. So in 2020, this is 2023 right now. So the yellow area is where FICA, the trust fund, took in more money. So this was a plan. The trust fund was a plan in the early 1980s under Reagan, the Greenspan Commission. They say, hey, baby boomers, those 76 million beautiful people that were born between 1946 and 1964. Well, they are going to get old, hopefully, if they're lucky, and they're going to start pulling from Social Security. So maybe we should start putting some money in the bank, or chock full of canned nuts out in the back of the White House, or wherever they put it, in Fort Knox. Maybe we should save some money. So that's what they did, is they established that trust fund. So the yellow area is all of those years they got more money than they put out, and they took that money and they put it in a trust fund, in treasuries, in full faith and credit of the United States, that pretty much every country in the world supports and agrees with and trusts. And then in 2010, it switched from the yellow to the green. And the green is where they started pulling out of the trust fund. And the green ends, as you can see, probably 2031, 2034. It changes a little bit every year. It depends on what happens on the next this next presidential term, or the next 4 years, or the next several years. We're going to see what happens. And why wasn't more money put away in the trust fund so it would stay around longer? Well, that's the issue, right? Basically, the crystal ball in the 1980s was a crystal ball. They were looking at the future. They based their estimates of how much they would need for the trust fund in the future based on the reality at the time, right? So that's the fact. They just missed. They didn't carry the one, I guess. The two things that they missed was the demographics, in terms of they thought we would have more kids and more people would pay into FICA, and therefore it would be good. And the other thing they really, really missed is they missed how much money goes to the top. So kind of a redistribution of wealth to the top. It's basically, once, a lot of people don't know this, you, me, probably everybody, 99% of the people watching this paid FICA tax on every penny. Every dollar that came in, you paid FICA tax. The 6.2%, for Social Security, and your boss paid 6.2%. But if you made over $168,600 this year, you don't pay FICA tax on Social Security anymore. So if you're making $2 million, you're paying less than 1% of your pay in FICA and Social Security tax. If you're making less than 168,000, then you're paying 6.2, plus your boss is paying 6.2. You're basically paying 12.4% of your income is going to FICA tax to shore up Social Security. If you're making $1 million, $2 million, then you're paying, pennies. If you're making, like Elon Musk or the really rich people, they stop paying FICA tax at, January 1st at, the first 1 hour of January 1st, they stop paying FICA tax. The rest of us pay all year. So That was the crystal ball that was broken, and that's why the trust fund is running out sooner than they expected. Less children and less money. Um, and one of the things that is also a fact that there's also a lot of people losing money right now. So that's kind of my job in my kind of semi-retirement. If you're new to my channel, this is what I'm doing. I'm kind of bringing the attention of the long-term viability of Social Security and what we need to make sure it's still around here and there's no cuts. But my most important first job is to kind of pull from the trust fund by making sure y'all are doing the right thing and get all the benefits you're entitled to. So that's why I do a live Q&A. And so I help you with Social Security, retirement, disability, survivor benefits, spouse benefits. And I have a partner that also helps with Medicare. This is the Medicare season, ends December 7th. You paid for Medicare. Make sure you get everything you're entitled to for Medicare. There's close to 2 million plans that were canceled this year, Medicare Advantage plan, prescription drug plans. And a lot of people, I guarantee hundreds of thousands of people did not get the notification. They threw it away or it was misdelivered or whatever the case may be. And they didn't get the notification that their plan has been canceled. So make sure you reach out to Chapter and they'll give you a free review. Make sure, see if your plan was canceled, see if it was downgraded, see if there's anything else better in your particular area. All right. So, and then the fact number 4 is Social Security is not just a trust fund. Again, the trust fund was a temporary thing. Social Security has had several trust funds going back to 1935. It's not a permanent thing. It's for a particular, a situation. In this case, it was for the baby boomers. They put a bunch of money away temporarily to cover something that's going to happen in the future. Again, they miscalculated. But Social Security will always be here as long as we want it to be here, because there's always going to be people paying, there are always going to be people working and paying taxes, which includes the payroll tax, the FICA tax for Social Security and Medicare. So as long as there's people paying, working and paying FICA, then Social Security will always be here. The issue is how much are we going to get in the future? If we're only depending on those paying right now, then that's the issue going forward, is how much we're going to cut. It's not, when. Well, the question is when. It changes a few years here and there, but there is no question that there are going to be cuts if we don't do anything. And the fact 5 is there are several solutions to stop the cuts. So we do get everything we thought we were going to get in retirement. You can increase the FICA for everyone. So instead of 6.2, make 7 or 8%. You can increase the FICA cap or eliminate it completely. So those that make over 168,000 pay it, 100%, just like the rest of us, Joe Schmoes that have to pay everything into FICA. You can cut benefits, which is basically what's on the plan right now. So you hear people say, well, politicians love saying, I'm not going to touch Social Security. I'm not going to cut Social Security. I'm not going to raise the retirement age. Okay. All right. Perfect. That's awesome. But if you don't do anything, all those cuts are going to happen inevitably within the next few years, because the math just doesn't make sense. Another option out there is means testing. So if someone makes a lot of money, got other 401ks or other income coming in, then they shouldn't get Social Security. That is one option out there. Another option, raise the retirement age. And the same, a lot of people that are saying that, where's the trust fund? Where's the trust fund? If we stop giving money to this country or this country, that is, I guess, another option. Just pull money out of the general revenue and shore up Social Security. But Social Security was always supposed to be kind of a self-sustaining unit. The current payees, essentially, current recipient, payees of FICA tax pay current recipients. Again, sometimes the demographics don't mesh, so they set up a trust fund. But that's essentially the situation, that it's supposed to be self-sustaining and supposed to be separate. If we want to pull money out of the general that's already way into debt, I guess that's a conversation that we need to have. But the number one thing to have that conversation is start having a serious conversation and not fall for the tricks of the politicians that say, you don't need to worry about, increasing taxes on my rich friends. You need to worry about what happened to the trust fund. Let's go find the trust fund. They stole the trust fund. Let's blame this program. And so, yeah, we're not having a serious conversation. And that's the reason we're in where we're in. Okay.